Some years ago, I had a job, and I'm going to tell you this story, and you're going to make the connection. So I was working at this job that I absolutely loved. I had an opportunity to travel both domestically and internationally, work with organizations large and small. We transformed their cultures. I had this group of clients that I watched go from maybe satisfaction scores of 3.2 to satisfaction scores of 4.7. I'm like, yes. We were at a board meeting one day, and someone asked a question about this particular program. I was leading a small team, and this person asked a question and said, I really don't understand what this program is. And I raised my hand at the board of directors meeting, and I said, oh, I can help with that. So I proceeded to, with passion, share the transformations that we had made in organizations just by helping to lift their leaders. I went on about my business. I didn't think anything else about it. 4 months later, there was a physician in that board meeting who called our president and said, I want this program. I'm bringing it in for my team, but only if Rhonda can come and lead it for us. See, I became the person that was actually selling the program, not because I'm a salesperson, because I'm not, but because I could speak with such passion. And I could speak to the results. So one Friday afternoon, I got an email, and it had an invitation attached to it, and it was to meet with my manager and the president. I didn't think that was unusual. I was at a high level in the organization. I meet with the president all the time. Okay. A couple of hours later, I got an email that said, hey, we're going to be making some changes. I've attached an updated job description. I want you to review it over the weekend. We'll talk about it in our meeting on Monday. So I said, okay. So over the weekend, I got my red pen, I got my highlighter. I said, let me see what this is all about. So I opened up this job description and I reviewed. There were some pretty significant differences in that job description. Also some minor ones, but it came with different expectations on my time, more travel, expanded team responsibilities. So I was already leading a team. They were going to expand that, financial implications. By the time Monday came, I was furious. I was furious. Not because they made the decision, but because I didn't see this coming. So on Monday, we go into the meeting, and they begin to tell me about the new direction, where we're going, why we're going there. And I voiced my displeasure in no uncertain terms. I was not a happy girl. That seemed to catch them off guard. They didn't see that coming. So they started to explain. Well, here's why we're doing this. I was less interested in why they were doing it, and I was more interested in why they did it without me. Because I was the one doing the work. It's okay to make decisions. As leaders, we do it all the time. But are you involving your people? Are you in an office just making a decision? Or are you asking questions? Are you telling them the challenges so that they can support the change? So they said, okay, well, we'll make some changes because you're not happy. Okay. So they agreed to make a few adjustments. And I said, that might work. And they said, okay, you don't seem like you're completely sold on this. So take a couple days, think about it, and then come back and talk to us again. So in 2 days, I was supposed to meet with my manager. The night before I was going to meet with him, I could not sleep. I tossed and I turned, and I tried to convince myself of the answer I thought I should give, but my heart had already given me the answer. So I went into the meeting with my manager and I said, listen, I really appreciate your willingness to be flexible and to make these adjustments, but I think it's time for me to go. My manager looked at me. Now, mind you, we're in a Zoom call. My manager looked at me and then looked around, and he said, "Go where?" And it hit me. He never once considered the impact of his decision. What he didn't think about is when we as leaders make decisions, that's like throwing a pebble into a pond. It has a ripple effect. As leaders, we're not the only ones that get to make decisions, because once you make a decision, then other people get to make a decision. So I turned in my resignation and I moved on, because I could not work for an organization. Now, mind you, we are transforming organizations every day. And we're doing it by uplifting people, by inspiring them, by asking them for their voice. But inside of our own organization, I thought, I can't do that. If you're not going to walk your talk, I don't need to be here. So I want to ask each and every one of you, how many in here are leaders? Raise your hand if you're a leader. Okay. I'm going to ask that question again at the end. And the reason I ask that question is because it's important. So if you raised your hand and you're a leader, I would love to hear one word that you would like to describe your leadership. What one word would you use to describe your leadership? Just stand up and call it out. One word. Courage. Courage. One word. What was that? Okay. Integrity. Trust. Attitude. Those are great words. What was the last one? Oh, vision. Oh, I like that. Those are great words. My name is Rhonda Y. Williams, and I am a global advocate for advancing the practice of humanized leadership. I came all the way from the great state of Texas to be here with you today to invite you to expand the way that you think about leadership. Times today are asking for more. Our old models may not work. Leadership has to be flexible. It doesn't mean those old models are wrong. It's simply an opportunity for evolution. It's time for change. So as we think about this, and what was ironic about the situation that I was in was I was already working on this new philosophy that I want to share with all of you called LEADJITSU. Okay, LEADJITSU. And LEADJITSU is the vision, artistry, and discipline of superb leadership. LEADJITSU is a new leadership philosophy, and I was working on this at the time of this incident because I've been in leadership for more than 20 years. My background is healthcare. I'm a registered nurse by background. I've been at the level of a chief nursing officer. I've been a hospital CEO, and I could not imagine doing to anyone on my team what was just done to me. So LEADJITSU is a unique blend of sound leadership principles, of emotional intelligence, and the wisdom and discipline of the martial arts. The goal of LEADJITSU is to give leaders the tools, the resources, the skills, and the roadmap to advance humanized leadership. Because at the end of the day, leaders are about people, right? If we manage, and management's okay, but management is about tasks. It's about getting this stuff done. Leadership is about people. So I want you to think about the word that you called out when you're a leader. And I'm going to ask you to add humanized to that. Because at the end of the day, as much as you want to get it done if you're a leader, you can't get it done without the people. The people are the means and the vehicle, so we must lift, nurture, and inspire them. I'm going to ask DJ Ken to come up because we had this great conversation. This wasn't in the script, y'all. we had a great conversation. And he shared something with me that really kind of fell on my heart that I wanted to be able to speak to. I've been talking to people since I've been here about what does leadership mean to you? What does leadership mean to you? What are the qualities that we need to see in our leaders today? And I want you to just share a little bit about what you shared with me, please. Come on up.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken. They know me as Ken the DJ. We had a conversation during the lunch break, and I was just telling her about what is happening in the country. And so the young people, the Gen Zs, they came out courageously to express their views because they are not happy with the leadership of our country. And so they came out to express what they want. And interestingly, some of the things that they wanted out to be taken care of were taken care of. And so in a place where our parents, even in our bringing, they've been telling us, you're not supposed to speak when mature people, the elderly are speaking and all that. And so I think that is changing, even in churches, even in our workplaces. And I'm also here to talk to the pastors, the men of God, that also, if you can give a chance to the young people, even in churches, to lead the service, to do some of the things, even in our workplaces, I think that will make a difference. And I think it's a thing of, because for the longest time, the young people have been taken like people who are not educated. They cannot express themselves. And I think that's not a good thing as a leader. Yeah. And so I said I'll share with that. And that's something that is changing in our country. And we are hoping, and we are praying as the young people, that some of the things that we asked for, Gen Z, that they'll be taken care of, okay? And so for the young people also, let us be courageous to see Ogope. Sindio? That's the thing I wanted to share.
Thank you. To use your voice, to feel empowered to express what you have on your heart and your mind. One of the things he said to me is, you know what, sometimes we're afraid. If I speak up, this is my boss, I'm going to get in trouble. I might even go to jail. That's not leadership. If you are in a leadership position, then you want to be able to hear what people are feeling. You want to be asking the questions, not waiting for them to express it. Go ask the questions, because that is where you'll get the real answers. Leadership, each and every one of you in here can be a leader, and probably are. And your leadership is your masterpiece. I want you to consider this for a moment. Every masterpiece begins with a blank canvas. So let's talk about transforming your canvas, because when you transform your canvas through your leadership, you are creating the champions. So there's 3 elements that we use, and I'll go through those quickly. Vision, artistry, and discipline. Somebody say it with me. Vision, artistry, and discipline. So when an artist has an inspiration, they catch the vision in their mind's eye. They may not even know exactly where they're going, but they've got a pull. They've got a direction. Just like the leader who has a solid belief, an unyielding desire to create possibilities where people believe that there are none. That vision that you create becomes your roadmap. In LEADJITSU, we use the roadmap that's called the Leader's Code. And I'm going to invite you all later to download your own copy. You can just catch me later if you want to do that, because it's available complimentary to you. So now you have the roadmap. You've got your vision. Next thing you want to do is you are going to tap into the artistry. What is the artistry? The artistry is how you show up. It's how you're moving in that leadership space. So the artist uses brushstrokes, colors, blending, lines in order to bring their vision forward. The leader reaches into their toolbox and they use their artistry for the skills of empathy, innovation, communication, creativity, and decision making. Now, when we're talking about leaders, I want to be very clear that this is not about an office. What about the teacher who's teaching in our schools? Are they leaders? I didn't hear you. Are they leaders? Yes. What about the leaders of the church? Right? They're feeding the flock. What about the parents? Are they leaders? All right, so now raise your hand if you are in this room and you are a leader. Yeah. Much better. Let me go a little bit more and then I'll wrap up. So when you are able to step into that role of leadership, it's not a title. If you are waiting for someone to give you the title of leadership, you might be waiting a long time. You determine if you're a leader. That way that you move, that way that you inspire, because John Maxwell says leadership is influence. I say leadership is inspired influence, because that's what moves people. That's what our people are calling for today. So when we get in that space of humanized leadership, we keep our people at the core of who we are, while we as leaders continue to ignite the flame that is the human spirit. When you do that for your people, when you listen to them, when you uplift them, when you empower them, when you support and nurture them, they will do anything for you. Leadership is not a title, it's a choice. Leadership is not a right, it's a responsibility. Leadership is not about telling, it's about inquiring. Leadership is not about dictating, it's about collaborating. Leadership is something that impacts every single aspect of your life. I challenge you to find one area of your life that is not impacted by leadership. You can't. Yet we don't talk about it. We have to nurture our leaders. We have to empower them. Has anybody in here ever had a bad leader? Raise your hand if you've had a bad leader. Now say their name. No, don't do that. I don't want you to get yourself in trouble. But just like we were talking earlier, and Dr. Rodering talked to us about judgment, we don't need to judge those bad leaders, because guess what? Maybe they didn't have a role model. Maybe no one inspired them. Maybe they never received leadership training. That's not our job. If we are leaders, our job is to support and nurture. Give them the roadmap, but be honest. Give them the feedback, because sometimes leaders are bad leaders because nobody ever told them they're a bad leader. Common sense, they say, is not common. Common sense is not common. And great leadership is not easy. And if it was, then everybody would do it. So, leadership and great leadership is not for the faint of heart. But anybody can have it. It's theirs. It's right there for you to claim. But if you step up and you claim that mantra of leadership, then you got to own it. With that comes a responsibility. We want to humanize leadership, because on the other side of every decision we make are people. People with families, people with ideas, people who want to be lifted, developed, and inspired. Now, I'm going to try one more time to see who in this room is willing to step up and claim the mantra of leadership. Raise your hand if you are in this room and you are a leader. Okay. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for your service. My name is Rhonda Y. Williams, and I came all the way from Texas to be an advocate for advancing the practice of humanized leadership. Thank you.
My name is Juliana Suju, and I'm a leader representing people living with vitiligo. And I can tell you it has not been an easy journey. And today I can tell you have been an inspiration. I was feeling down, but at the moment you've just woke me up.
Today, I'm so happy. Madam Williams, you have touched my heart. Being a teacher, I think I'm a leader. And I teach the beginners, the ECD ones. So, being a leader, I've learned today it's all about people. And to me, according to my docket, being a leader, my work will be to inspire more and to nurture those innocent souls.
What I've learned from what you've just told me as a coming up leader, when you are talking of us not judging, I think somebody talked about not judging the fathers or the leaders that are ahead of us. I have picked up something from your speech that as I am growing, I should have the attitude of listening to the old and also the attitude of listening to my peers.
I'm also inspired, and today I know that I'm a leader of people, and these people are the vehicle, and I have to control this vehicle. And to control the vehicle is to inspire them, to encourage them, and to empower them.
Your topic is so touching. Being a leader, it means that you are chosen by God. The authority was given to you by God. So it's upon you to take the people that the Lord has assigned you, to take them to another level, nurture them, and also take them to a better place where your heart will be fulfilled.
My name is Maclean, and I've learned as a leader, you're not supposed to just give people what they're supposed to do this, do that, but be inclusive to everyone. Thank you.
I've learned that your leader has created his or her own masterpiece. So like leadership, you're making your own masterpiece. That's what I've learned from them.